All right. Donald Trump just gave his State of the Union address, and I have a couple of thoughts on it. Right. So now I haven't watched a bunch of State of the Union addresses, so I can't really compare it to a bunch. I watched Obama's, his State of the Union addresses, and this was not one of those. But it doesn't mean that it still wasn't an effective speech, right? And I think what you're going to hear is, you turn on CNN, turn on MSNBC, and they're going to say this wasn't a good speech. They're going to fact check him, saying that he made up a bunch of things. And by the way, valid stuff. But you have to judge it by whether or not it was effective with what it was intended to do. And in that respect, I thought this speech was an exceptional speech by Donald Trump, right? He's an impeached president. They're voting tomorrow on, most people believe that the Senate is going to acquit him of all charges. This was like a declaration of war almost, right? He starts out, he comes down, and he doesn't shake Nancy Pelosi's hand, which some people might say that's unprofessional. Hey, you know what? There's like, you have to shake her hand. It's what we do. Not doing it is a disrespect to the office. Some people have that opinion, but Donald Trump understands that this is not about policy, right? And I think what Democrats are getting wrong about all of this is that they still view all of these things as policy, right? Decorum, respectability politics. That's the view that they have about a lot of these things. And Trump understands that elections are won now viscerally. He speaks to the animal inside of people. And that's what he did in his speech. This entire speech was just him pretty much putting his penis on the table, saying, yeah, I'm here, I'm not changing, now what? And the Democrats don't seem to have any response to that, because they still think that this is about who has the right policy, and this is about the political realm is where the culture wars are being fought, right? And Donald Trump understands that all of this stuff is culture war. It's animal. It's visceral. Deep down, he understands that, and that's why I think this was a very effective speech. He gave you his platform for 2020, right? I'm a pro-life president. If you're a religious person, I support you and your religious freedom. Christianity is one of his bases. This entire speech was him shoring up his base, right? And he did the thing that all presidents do, including Obama, where they had their speech at first where they're laying out, all their successes and their plans for the future. But then there's the part of the speech where they acknowledge all of the people that they invited for political points. I saw somebody on Twitter say that, I used to enjoy this part of the speech where the guests that the president invited would get up and stand and people acknowledge them, but now it's gross because they're being used. Dude, they were always being used, right? You disagreed with the purpose that they were being used for in the past, because it was your guy. It was Obama, whether it was Clinton, whether it was Bush, regardless of who it was, you agreed with their policies, so you didn't mind the not the manipulation. You didn't mind the them being used for political points, right? But Trump was doing the exact same thing. Yeah. So I think the speech is very effective. And you have to remember, Trump is trying to win an election. He's not trying to win the popular vote. He is trying to shore up his base. The Democrats are a mess right now. I think that Trump is too reckless to be in the Oval Office for me. So I'm a Bernie supporter, and Yang. I like Yang, Tulsi. I like Bernie. Bernie seems to be the only person that has a chance of winning, and I like Bernie because he's an honest dude, and I feel like he says what he means and he means what he says. But this wasn't. Look at, they are in trouble. The Democrats are in trouble. Do not listen to MSNBC. Do not listen to CNN. Do not listen to any of these news programs that try to paint this as a bad night for Donald Trump, because it's not. It's not a bad night. This was effective, and he knows what he is doing, right? He was playing to his people. I caught a couple of minutes of the Democratic rebuttal, and it just showed that they still don't get it. It was some white woman, speaking about policy and speaking about, she disagrees. She's talking in a nice tone. It's, that's why they lose. Until they understand that this is about the animal in us. Visceral. That's right. Democrats have to find a way to speak to people viscerally. Until they do that, I don't think, you know, they'll be able to beat Trump in 2020. Especially if they're trying to get rid of Bernie in the, you know, in this race for the Democratic nomination. So, those are my thoughts. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Comment down below. Crew Philosopher out.